What is up, guys? So this video is going to be a little bit different than any video I've ever put out before, so I apologize if I'm a little bit awkward or nervous during this, but this is a very emotional topic for me personally, and I'm normally a very private person about these type of things, but my goal for this video is not going to be to sell you guys anything. It's not going to be to tell you that you can become a millionaire overnight. My goal for this video is just to show even just one person watching that you can completely change your life at any moment. All you have to do is jump in and fully commit to it. And so this is going to be the story, guys, of how I became a millionaire. And so this particular topic is very emotional for me, just because of how incredibly hard my mom and my dad worked every single day, long days, 7 days a week, sometimes working multiple jobs, to give my sister and I everything that we possibly needed when we were growing up. We weren't rich, we weren't wealthy, but my mom and dad gave us everything that we could have ever asked for. So mom and dad, if you guys are watching right now, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for everything you did for me when we were growing up. So this particular topic is emotional for me because no one in my family has ever come anywhere close to becoming a millionaire, even though they worked so incredibly hard every single day. And so it's a very emotional kind of thing for me talking about that moment. It was my dream as growing up. Everything was focused on that day in and day out. All of those nights that all my friends went out to go party, all of those nights that all my friends were sleeping in after a long night out, right? I was getting up early. I was staying in on those nights that they decided to go out because I had one goal in life, and it was to become a millionaire, to give my kids and my friends and my family everything that they ever wanted, to show them how much I care and how much I love them and how much I am so grateful for everything they did. And so, mom and dad, I love you, but that's enough emotional stuff for now. Let's get into the proof. And we're gonna do this a little bit differently because we do everything a little bit differently at That Lifestyle Ninja. All the other people out there who are claiming to be millionaires and things like that are just showing you screenshots, right? They're just showing you things that are quite easy to actually manipulate or Photoshop or things like that. And so we're not going to do any of that. I'm going to show it all to you live in my actual account. And so I obviously have to blur out a little bit, but I'm going to literally show you me signing into these accounts and showing you every single thing word for word for word, so you know that it is 100% real, guys, and so you know that you can 100% do it too. So we're going to start with Amazon. We're actually going to log in here live in front of everyone. So this is one of my main accounts. We see that we have $212,000 in sales in the last 30 days. And so we're going to look at some of my other accounts here. So this is one of my other ones as well. So we're going to get this up really quick. So it was around $220,000 for that specific account. So I decided early on, guys, to make multiple Amazon accounts just to kind of mitigate the risk of being suspended and having all of my income kind of tied up in that. So I made a decision early that I wanted to really spread out all of my accounts. And so we actually concurrently run 8 different Amazon accounts that I own 100%. I do have a business partner that helps me with a lot of stuff as well, and I'm very grateful for him. If you're watching this, what up? And so this is another account. We have 85, almost 86,000, but we'll call it 85,000 here in the last 30 days. And we'll look at just one more account really quick. This is one of our other ones as well. And so we see we have 207,000 here in the last 30 days. So we're gonna do plus 207,000. And so that's around 512,000, and it's December 21st. So we still have, 10 more days of revenue, which, obviously Christmas time is, more kind of explosive as far as revenue goes, but, we'll easily do another 100, 150,000 in revenue in those last 10 days. But we won't even add that. So we've done, a little bit over $500,000 in 1 month on Amazon. And so Amazon really was kind of the impetus that really got me started onto my career of becoming an internet multimillionaire in my 20s. It feels weird saying that, but yeah, so Amazon FBA obviously was the biggest way that I was able to really generate so much more money than I was ever used to making, guys. Because when I was working at Facebook, I was making 6 figures. I had a very cushy job. They changed my oil for me while I was at work for free. I got massages for free there. It was like the best job that you could ever possibly ask for. But at the end of the day, you were still working for someone else. And so I knew I had to do something differently. And so we'll go over that in a little bit. But I just wanted to show you guys some proof first. So that is the Amazon proof. For those of you who don't know, I also created an Amazon FBA course. I have a Shopify course coming soon. It will launch in the next 10 days. I promise it's going to be the best on the market. I promise you that. And so let's look just really quickly at some of the numbers. So I launched the course on May 17th. And so we did about $351,000 from May 14th to June 17th. So we did about $350,000 in that month. And then we'll do it from June 18th to July 18th. So the next month we did about $328,000. And then from July 19th to August 19th, we did about $395,000 in that month. And guys, this is 100% profit for the most part. You obviously have a few fees and some marketing expenses and things like that, but this is 100% profit. So we should point out that this 512,000, because people always ask what the profit is, right? Because it's obviously a different number than the revenue with Amazon FBA. So for the 3 accounts, we average about 48% profit, 52% profit, and 61% profit. And so I worked that out. It's about 55% profit. So if we multiply this by 0.55, so we're going to do about $281,000 and change in profit during this 1 month. Just from Amazon FBA. So we're doing about between 300 and 400 grand as well for the course, and that's just Stripe. So I'm going to show just really quickly in PayPal as well. So we're going to do financial summaries, monthly sales. We'll just choose a random month. So we started the course in May, so let's just choose June. So if we look at this report, we see that, so we did about 116,000 during June. So we did about $500,000 in profit during the month of June. So it was really obviously exciting. Amazon FBA was doing really well. The course obviously was doing very well. I think people were reacting just to how well our students were doing. People really started to notice how quickly my students were changing their business, their Amazon FBA business in relation to people in other courses, just because the level of content and the depth and the detail, I guess, that I was going into, people were really kind of reacting to, and they were just making such huge changes in their business. And I'm so proud of my students. If you guys are watching this, I love you. Obviously, we've created such an amazing family in the private student group. And so this is another revenue stream. Obviously, guys, the key to creating wealth on the internet is having multiple revenue streams. It's not just Amazon, it's not just Shopify, it's not just affiliate marketing, right? We have all different types of things: YouTube, Amazon, Shopify, affiliate marketing. Having these multiple income streams is really how you start to kind of break out and become, in the monetary range that you're actually trying to kind of get to. So this is just another one from Shopify, just a random one. We started back in November. We've made about, 4 or 5 grand, whatever it is there. This is ClickFunnels. We made another 5 grand in the last couple of months. This is Jungle Scout affiliate. So we've made about 32 grand here from Jungle Scout. And so without too much pressure, I mean, if people still don't believe it after all of that, I'm actually scrolling through the web pages, I'm logging in, I'm showing you guys, then there's nothing I can possibly do to prove it to you. But for those of you who can see that I'm obviously trying to be as genuine as possible here and really show you guys as much as I possibly can about how we did this. And so let's talk about how we did it. Let's take it back a little bit. So I was at Facebook, I was working, I was happy, but I knew I wanted to be kind of an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to be working for myself for the rest of my life. And so I was basically looking everywhere. And so how did I start? So I've done pretty much everything that you could possibly do to make money on the internet. I created a website called topessentialoils.com, and I tried to monetize it by affiliate marketing Amazon essential oils. We created AdSense, and we tried to rank for our blog posts for specific terms in Google, so people would be served Google ads, and we'd get that additional revenue. I've created travel blogs, eatsleeptrekrepeat.com, and just to kind of catalog my travels all over the world for the past 5 years. For those of you who don't know, I'm in Queenstown, New Zealand right now. It's an absolutely beautiful city. If you guys have never been, I absolutely recommend it. But that's why we have new scenery for those of you who watch the channel a little bit more religiously. And so after that, I did make an iOS app called Quiz Pixel. It was a video game quiz game. And this was back when Trivia Crack was super popular. And all of those things kind of weren't huge successes. We'll put it lightly, but I was making $100, $200, $500 a month from those. Obviously, not enough to live, but I was learning. I was figuring out how these things worked. I was figuring out how online businesses worked. I was figuring out how to find people on Upwork. I was figuring out how to find contractors on Fiverr. I don't regret any of the failed businesses that I've created because I learned and I figured out what didn't work about it, and then I iterated and I evolved and I changed those things to actually start creating something that did work. And so I stumbled upon Greg Mercer. He was kind of my Amazon FBA idol, which has been so cool. Obviously, collabing with him on all of our PPC videos and featuring him on the channel, and him featuring me on his channel and on Jungle Scout has been amazing. But the first person I ever stumbled across for Amazon FBA was Greg Mercer. So Greg, if you're watching this, you're my boy, obviously. He's one of my good friends now. And so I read everything he wrote, because what I do when I jump into a new arena is I find the person that I personally think is the best. They're giving the best information. They're telling me in the most articulate way. They're sharing the most details. They're being the most honest. They're being the most transparent. And that to me was Greg at the time. Hopefully some people think that about me now, right? We have over 2,000 happy students in the Ninja family, and many more joining every single day. But I found Greg first. And so I read everything that he wrote, everything that he put on Jungle Scout, all of his videos, all of his blog posts. And basically, I knew that this was going to work. I bought everything personally off Amazon. I bought my toilet paper off Amazon. I bought my toothpaste, my toothbrushes, my food, literally everything. And I knew that all of my friends did too. So I just kind of understood, a couple years ago that Amazon obviously was the future. It was going to become the behemoth that it was and is even more so now. And so I kind of was hooked, and I knew Amazon FBA was going to work. I understood the process, and so I jumped head first and I absorbed everything available to me possible on Amazon FBA. I joined all of the groups. I started recruiting people that showed amazing sales to form a mastermind. All these different things were kind of happening at once, and I found my perfect product using Jungle Scout, and I ordered. And so I didn't kind of follow the normal path that a lot of people do. I ordered multiple products at the same time with a $6,100 investment is what it kind of turned out to be, with all of my cost of goods and my shipping. I made a lot of mistakes. Obviously, I used FBA Forward, and they're very overpriced. Never use an American freight forwarder. If you're watching and you're my student, always use the freight forwarders that I recommend, because they're literally 1/5 of the price for the exact same thing. And so I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't understand customs. I didn't know that you had to, put made in China on the boxes. I had no idea about FNSKUs. And so I was kind of figuring it out as I went. I lost multiple thousands of dollars for all of those mistakes. But, eventually my products arrived. And literally within 1 week, I was making $1,000 a day. And I was absolutely shocked. Within the first 2 weeks, I had already recouped all of my investment, all of the money that I had lost in making all the mistakes. And I just understood at that point that this was going to work and this was going to change my life. And that is when I really committed and went all in. And so for my second order, it was a much larger order. I didn't really understand what I was doing, to be honest, for the most part, but I did read, enough blogs and enough things and just use enough logic to realize that kind of the biggest risk in the entire process was the 30% down payment, because what that represented was, an opportunity for the supplier to just literally steal 30% of my money and not give anything back. And obviously, the cost to go and try to litigate in China as an American citizen is just not very realistic. People who talk about suppliers signing NDAs and all of these different legal agreements, yes, that can work to scare them, but at the end of the day, it's very difficult to sue someone internationally, and for the most part, you just have to protect yourself monetarily. And so the next order that I did, and I've actually never talked about this before, I made a huge mistake. And I chose the wrong supplier. So I didn't use enough due diligence. I wasn't checking their background. I wasn't looking at their online website. I wasn't looking at their transaction history. I was just basically kind of high off of, the initial success that I had with my first products. And so I paid this 30% down payment, and luckily I did it the right way. Obviously, how I teach my students: whenever you pay a supplier, never, ever, ever pay via TNT or wire transfer. Always, always, always pay via PayPal, and fund that payment on PayPal with the payment method as your credit card. So you have two lines of defense. The first line of defense is with PayPal. You can file a claim there for goods and services and get your money back from PayPal. If they don't agree with it, you can file a dispute on your credit card, and you're pretty much always going to get that money back, or so you hope. And so what happened was the supplier basically did exactly what I feared as the biggest risk area of the entire kind of infrastructure of Amazon FBA, and they ran away. They stopped responding to my messages. I probably sent them 15 messages, right? They had $5,000 of my money, and at that time, $5,000 was a ton of money for me. I was really just getting started, kind of trying to figure everything out, trying to become an entrepreneur, trying to make things work. And so $5,000 was a ton of money to me, and it's just a ton of money in general. And so what happened was they ignored me. They blocked me on Skype. They blocked all of my attempts. They didn't respond to any of my emails. But luckily, I paid that $5,000 in the correct way. And so what I did was I filed a dispute on PayPal. And what ended up happening is they actually input a little clause in the PayPal notes, which was basically saying that it was a custom order, and the custom order clause in a PayPal transaction for goods and services, I suppose, or I guess I learned, voids the goods and services kind of contract that PayPal has for protection. And so PayPal denied my claim, and so I was basically out $5,000. I was panicking at that point. I thought everything was over. I thought that I was going to come crumbling down. All of this was going to fail after all of my months and months of hard work and figuring this all out, and I was crushed. I was depressed, and I couldn't, I had no idea that if it was going to work or not. And so, the last line of defense was good old fashioned Chase Bank. And so I called up Chase Bank. I explained the situation. I gave them all the proof. I had to wait, what felt like an eternity for them to respond, but they approved my claim. They forced the refund via PayPal, and I got all of my money back. And so obviously you can probably guess that from that moment on, I was vigorously detailed in vetting every single supplier I talked to. I got references. I looked at their website. I looked at their transaction history. Every single part of it, I was extremely meticulously interested in. And from that point on, I got very lucky, got an amazing supplier who was fantastic. He and I are friends. We send each other Christmas gifts every single year, I guess for 2 years now. And so everything was going much better, and I was getting more and more products up. And guys, the beauty of Amazon FBA is the work is front loaded. So you do a lot of work up front, but now, my business is just running, and, we're making thousands and thousands of dollars a day across all of our different accounts. During Q4, we're making $50,000 a day, and, I'm working maybe 2 to 4 hours a week. But that's the beauty of Amazon FBA. And when you pick products correctly, you do your due diligence, you don't make any mistakes, right? You follow the correct people who've made those mistakes and who've cost themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars like me. And hopefully you don't repeat those mistakes when you find the right mentor. So let's talk about how I got started kind of with YouTube and creating the Facebook group. So for those of you who don't know, our Facebook group now is the biggest in the world, which is amazing. And so the Amazon FBA Ninjas, if you guys aren't a part of that group, then definitely come and check it out. We just yesterday actually became the biggest group in the entire world for Amazon FBA. I seriously get so excited every time I think about that. It's so incredible, and we did it in less than half of the time of anyone else. So the second largest group, it took them almost 3 years, 2.5 years to do it, and we did it in less than 1 year. And the reason for that, guys, is because we are a family. So if you guys haven't joined this group, please make sure you do. It is the best group. I promise you will not be sorry. And so how I actually got into that and created a Facebook group and even created a YouTube channel just kind of was fate. So one day I was just kind of looking on all the big groups at the time. There was probably 2 or 3 big groups. One was Competitive Edge, which is Greg Mercer's group. There was a few others, The Amazing Seller, who has the second largest group in the world. And so I joined all those groups. I tried to find people to network with because it's so important to network with people, to form a community with like-minded people, right? That's why it's so important and so amazing how my students have formed a family, because we all truly actually care and love each other. And, we're helping each other get reviews. We're helping each other with initial launches. And it's really just a beautiful thing. But the moral of the story, guys, is find a community anywhere. You can find it for free on Facebook. You can find it on YouTube of people going through the same things as you, because as an entrepreneur, things always come up. And so I reached out to one of the admins of a certain group, and I said, "Hey, man, like I'm so jealous. How do you have this group with 29,000 people? I couldn't believe it. 29,000 people. That was amazing to me." And he said to me, "You know, man, they all join naturally." And I said, "Okay, well, how do you find them? How are they finding you?" And he told me YouTube. And I said, okay, well, I mean, if you can do it, then I can do it. And so the first thing I did, I set out to record a YouTube video. And so I made, I think it was 3 YouTube videos 10 months ago from today. One of them was on product research. One of them was on how to find keywords. And I had no idea that other people didn't know this stuff. It was just stuff that I'd figured out on my own to kind of help my own business. What I'd figured out how to get products to page 1, how to find the best keywords, right? How to do PPC, how to do product research to find products that were going to be successful. And I made these 3 YouTube videos and I left for South America. And so I wasn't even paying attention to it. But I started to get more and more notifications, and I started to see more and more views on these videos with no action of myself. I was not advertising, I was not promoting them, I wasn't doing anything. I just literally uploaded them and basically went to Brazil and forgot about it. And all of a sudden, now one of those videos that I recorded in my old Denver apartment with my closet open, on with no lights in the room, on my old laptop camera, now has close to 500,000 views. And so that really was the moment that changed my life, because Amazon FBA is amazing. I love it. We've created so many amazing products, made so many people happy with the products that we bought. We made a lot of money doing it, but really what gives me happiness and fulfillment as a person is helping other people. And so, what my passion is and what my purpose is in life, I realized, was to help as many other people and as many other entrepreneurs as I possibly can realize that there is another way. You don't have to be trapped in a 9-to-5 job. You don't have to be trapped, working 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, 70, 80 hours a week with a job you hate, with people you don't really like, right? With 2 weeks a year to travel. That is absolutely insane. It's crazy to me. I can't even fathom that I did that. 2 weeks of vacation per year. That is not normal. And my life mission and my life goal and my passion and everything, my purpose, is now to spread the word to as many people and as many entrepreneurs out there as I possibly can, who are not satisfied and know that they deserve more in this life, and know that they deserve more for their families and friends, and they want to travel the world and they want to see the world and they want free time to do what they want, but they're trapped in that mentality that society has kind of brainwashed a lot of people, and who had brainwashed me. I felt very grateful when I worked at PwC. There was hundreds of applicants. There was 50 applicants that got a second round interview. There was 3 that got flown out, and they chose one of those people out of hundreds of applicants, which happened to be me. So I felt very grateful. But what I didn't realize at that time was I was still a 9-to-5 corporate drone. I was just a means to an end. They didn't really appreciate me, right? I was just a cog in the machine, and it's very easy to let society kind of lull you to sleep and make you not think about that there are all these other opportunities. And so my purpose and my life mission at this point is to to enlighten as many lifestyle ninjas out there who maybe you don't know you're a lifestyle ninja yet, maybe you don't know you're an entrepreneur yet, but you are. I know if you have that fire burning in you and you know that you deserve more and you know that there is something else in that 9-to-5, my life goal is to tell you and teach you as best as I possibly can exactly how to do it, how to leave that job behind and have the life and create the life that you've always wanted. And so if you guys want to find out more, join our Facebook group. It's absolutely free. It's the most amazing resource you guys could possibly have, maybe besides our private student group. Or if you're interested in joining, the Ninja course, I promise you it is going to be the best course that you could possibly join on Amazon FBA. It's been such an incredible experience for me seeing it change people's lives. We had, probably 100 of my students just in the month of December made it into the Ninja Hall of Fame. They were making $1,000 a day and they couldn't believe it. And it's literally the happiest thing that I could possibly experience. Oh, sorry, this is the Shopify course. That's not actually live yet, so don't look at that. But it's the happiest possible experience that I could have to see like the actual tears in people's eyes and get these messages from people saying, this changed my life. That to me is the definition of fulfillment. It makes me happier than anything in the world, guys. And if you want to learn more about, exactly how I was able to do this, for those of you who follow ClickFunnels, I was actually the fastest ever 2 Comma Club winner, which is $1 million to a single funnel. I did it in 57 days with no list. I had no email list. I had no following of any kind. I had no YouTube subscribers at that time, for the most part. And so I can make a really detailed video of exactly how I did it and how you can kind of duplicate that success for you guys. If you're interested in that, just leave a comment below saying that you want to hear, more detailed version of exactly how I was able to build this following and build this kind of movement, the ninja movement, with all my ninja family out there. I'd be happy to make that. So leave a like, leave a comment if you do want to hear about that. And obviously, as always, guys, click that subscribe button and make sure you click that little notification bell, so you can be up to date on all of the videos. So I promise you guys one thing. I promise you one thing. I will always, until the day I die, put out the absolute best and brightest information on how to make money online. I'll never hold anything back. I'll never be greedy. I will always give away every single thing that I possibly can, for you guys on how to leave your 9-to-5 jobs behind. And one more thing, guys, I want to hear from you. And it doesn't have to be $1 million story. It doesn't have to be $1 billion story. I don't care if you made your first dollar on the internet. I don't care if you made your first cent on the internet, or your first 100, or your first 10,000, or your first 100,000. I don't care what it is. Leave me a note in the comments telling me about how the internet and how e-commerce or how anything online changed your life, how you were able to leave your 9-to-5 job behind. Nothing makes me happier than hearing from you guys and hearing people change their lives. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the scenery in Queenstown, New Zealand. And I will definitely be hearing from you guys soon, and I can't wait to read all of your messages. I promise I will respond to every single one. And so I hope you guys enjoy this video, guys, and we will definitely see you on the next one.